I can see on the temperature of the stove that my stove is in secondary burn because I'm running at about 650. I'm going to check the draft I have on the stove. A really neat little gadget I found for checking draft is called a Draft Right draft gauge. It's really helpful. I'm going to show you what it is. Now this thing measures draft in thousandths of inches of water. It's simple to calibrate because you can just turn it. The draft tube screws in here, and then you stick this end into your stovepipe. To calibrate this unit before you take the reading is you put your finger over this hole and you tip it till it's on 0, and then you remove your finger. This thing's not made to leave in there because it starts to get hot, but it does give you a reading of about how much vacuum you have in your system. Now remove this little clean out plug. The draft right gauge, I'm going to stick my finger over the draft hole, stick it in the hole, calibrate it to 0. Let's see how much draft I have. I've got about 4. And that's how I check the draft. One thing I've learned over time is that you never run the dampener closed. You want it run wide open so that the change in air pressure happens at the intake of the air, so my secondary burn reaction happens in the stove instead of in the chimney. Let's take a closer look at that. Here's the chimney with the dampener turned at 45 degrees, and if you'll notice, this yellow area is where there would be resistance, and that would be similar to having a dirty or plugged chimney pipe. And you know how your stove works then, it doesn't work very well. So this is how I like to run it, so that the change in pressure happens in this area, and that's where the secondary burn will happen. So if you look at this area here, this is where I want the pressure change, because inside here is a negative vacuum and this is atmosphere. And as you saw when I measured the draft, I want the change in draft to happen in the beginning of the stove, where all the gases and the new fresh air comes in, so that the burn happens here instead of in the chimney pipe.